Everything is very complicated. Anyway. Hi, Direwolf. Hello. It was live. I was there. Then you stopped it. It told me there was some kind of mistake. And so now I'm trying to restart it. And I'm not sure if I can. And everything is very confusing and weird. Where am I? This is the first time it has ever happened. It used to be fine before. I had so many things I wanted to discuss. Okay, I think we are live, but I think it's a different live. It's somewhere on YouTube, you guys. If you could just please click on my YouTube channel. It says that I am live. You could just click on the icon and then... I don't know which one is it. The first one told me there was a mistake, so I tried to fix the mistake, and then you guys were saying, no, there was actually no mistake, and then I created another one, but then the other one apparently started working. I don't know what's happening, but we are live on here and on YouTube. We're gonna get into all of the stuff now that the technical issues hopefully are resolved. Okay, I'm seeing people. I'm seeing Tim. I'm seeing Paulina. Yay! Okay. You are live on TikTok. Yes, Lubilu, that's also what's happening. Hi, Katie. Okay, now I can actually give my entire attention to you guys, to our warm-up and our greetings and everything, because I'm no longer confused about very basic things. Streamer of the Year award goes to me. We will get into all of the stuff. We will get into the Ukraine updates. We will get into the... Well, this is actually, I think, at the heart, as always, of our conversation. Some interesting deets re-emerging about the sabotage of all of this military equipment in the European Union. We're going to talk about the sanctions, the European sanctions against Russia getting vetoed by, I think you already know whom. A lot of stuff that we're going to get into in a couple seconds. But first, we have to do our warm-up routine, because do you watch anime? Yes, I do. I know. My fault. Well, I mean, these days, not as much as I used to. Hi, Carol. How's it going? But definitely, as you can tell, there's an interesting situation going on. I used to be really, really into it in my youth. Now that I am 74, I'm obviously not as heavy into anime. But... Hi, Karen. Hello. Hi, guys. Thank you for sharing the live and for liking the live. It's supposed to be, I don't know, boosting it somehow. I'm not entirely sure if it is or if it's not. 74. Why you took 20 years away? Yeah, that's what I keep doing. I don't know. It's all right, so if you guys are on YouTube, then you are seeing in front of you the map of Ukraine. Hi, hello. Oh, Mish wants to say hi. Misha, do you want to say hi? I don't know if you guys can see the Mish. Mishanya. Yeah, she's saying hi. Well, she's trying to. Misha. This is Misha the dog. I think you can see her from TikTok, but maybe not from YouTube necessarily. Yeah, she's going to be with us today, at least for some time. I don't know if she's going to be with us for the entire live, but she's saying hi. Mish, say hi. Yep, that's the doggo. Mishanya. Lежать. Okay. She is trying to get used to the idea of being in front of so many people. I don't think she understands what a live stream is, but... So today, unfortunately, we had yet another terrifying night of shellings, you guys. So we're gonna get into that in a second. Yeah, that was Misha. She's saying hi. I'm 45. My girlfriend and I go to anime conventions, as you should. Honestly, be proud. Loud and proud. Otaku and proud. So yeah, you guys. Let's get the horrifying stuff out of the way, hopefully, as soon as we can. There was a night of yet another drones and missile strikes across the country. One of the heaviest hits was in Odessa. Let me show you, to those of you who do not remember where Odessa is on the map. This is it. It's a southern Ukrainian major port and touristic destination. I think one of our most famous cities, one of our most popular destinations. Currently, there is a touristic season despite the war, because the tourism numbers inside Ukraine have grown, obviously, with many people not being able to leave the country, so people traveling inside the country, and Odessa, of course, is one of the most popular destinations. Maybe I can show you what the beaches look like in Odessa. This is not Odessa, excuse me. Okay, this is Odessa. This is not very appealing. Maybe we can have some more appealing pictures. God, it looks exactly like Crimea. Anyway, yeah, so it's a nice sandy beach type situation that Odessa has going for it. But unfortunately, it keeps being under these constant missile and drone strikes, and so last night was no exception. There was a drone that hit a multiple-story building. An entire family was killed in that strike, and 17 people were injured. 3 out of them are kids. This is a result of a massive strike of the mostly Russian drones. And as you can see, this is so let's see if we can see the video. This is the result of the strike. This is the residential building burning. An entire apartment has burned out completely and entirely. The rest of the apartments are damaged. This is the rescuers evacuating the kids. People escaping the house. So yeah, we're not gonna obviously look at the entire thing. Hopefully okay, just something without any horrors, because usually such footage tends to have very, very gruesome imagery. So again, we've unfortunately been through this. We have discussed this before, that it keeps happening, that it's almost a daily occurrence. It's just a matter of which city is it going to be today, right? Which city is it going to be? Is it going to be Odessa? Is it going to be Dnipro? Is it going to be Kharkiv? Is it going to be Kiev? On many instances, it's yes to all of them. So yeah, just a very devastating situation in Odessa. How do people manage? A lot of you have been asking me. A lot of people from abroad are constantly asking me about how do they manage to live? How do they manage to have a life? How do they manage to have a touristic season going while all of this is happening? I have no idea. These people are made of steel. I have told you before, it's some kind of insane otherworldly resilience and bravery, and yeah, just completely unimaginary, especially when it comes to like Odessa, Kharkiv, Sumy, Zaporizhia, Kherson, so all of these cities that are hit so often. Yeah, but it's very sad to wake up to such information. At the same time, on a bright side, there was information revealed by our SBU intelligence services that there were certain targets hit in the temporarily occupied Crimea. To those of you who do not remember what Crimea is, I really doubt it, but maybe. You never know. There it is. This is Crimea in the south of Ukraine, just chilling. And it's red because it's occupied by Russia since 2014. So overnight there were some targets hit in the occupied Crimea. So 3 helicopters, according to SBU, and 1 Pantsir. This is, I think, a type of air defense systems that the Russians are using at a military airdrome in the occupied Crimea. So that's good. This is something to hopefully lift the spirits up. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you, guys. Oh, we have 25 people watching on YouTube. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Let me see what you guys are saying on here. Right, the contract, Carol says military target. So first we discussed this hit on a residential building, and then immediately it's followed by what an actual strike on a military target is supposed to look like. For instance, hitting some helicopters and hitting some air defense systems. So how about that? But at the same time, it's just, honestly, none of this should be happening. So yeah, there are some images from the airdrome, And apparently the satellite imagery has also detected some powerful fires in the area surrounding the airdrome. Where is that? Okay, it's Jankoyski Rayon. It's in the northern Crimea, so it's this part of Crimea right here. This is Jankoy. This is the basically entrance into Crimea. At least it used to be back when you were capable, when it was under the Ukrainian control, and you were capable of traveling into Crimea by train or by bus. And yeah, around Jankoy, the entire area, just like, if we're being honest, these days a lot of the places in Crimea have been heavily militarized and turned into these military facilities. So, yeah. Although, to be honest, some of them have been turned into the military facilities back in the day under the Soviet Union. Then they were just not used. They were abandoned, and they were not used by the Ukrainian army in some instances. And then when Russians returned, they obviously started, militarizing it at an insane pace. And everyone was wondering, why are they doing this? Why would they do something like this? Well, now we know, because it's used as this huge staging area for Russian attacks on Ukraine. All right, let me see. We're going back to the map for a sec. In the meantime, I'm just going to look at the chat. Who hit Crimea as Boo? It would be interesting if someone else, if it wasn't Ukraine. But no, it's just the Ukrainian forces hit an airdrome in northern Crimea. Lori says, just came from Helsinki Pride about an hour ago. Yay, go Pride. Happy Pride, everybody. I am well. Good for you. We do not have in our village, understandably, a Pride because we have 100 people, I think, living here. We had something kind of like similar to a Pride this year in Kyiv, and of course it was also mixed with huge controversies and a bunch of people trying to ruin everything as it happens. So I'm glad to. I hope it went well. I was reading about the Pride parade in Hungary. That apparently Orban didn't want to have, but then he did, and there was a bunch of warnings released about people who wanted to travel, that it's could potentially be unsafe, and of course it made all the news because, Pride in Budapest, let me see, 1,000 march in Budapest Pride. Okay, good. He didn't manage to ruin it. He tried to ban it. Viktor Orban tries to ban everything. He tries to veto the sanctions, to ban the Pride, to just, ruin the joy for everyone. But yeah, it did. Let me see. Oh. Okay. Yep, local authorities must never be forced to violate human rights. Duh. Thank you so much for that. Okay, anyway, so even in Hungary it happened, so I would imagine. Let's see what it looked like in Helsinki, if there are any pictures. Helsinki Pride. Tens of thousands of people took part in Helsinki Pride Parade. Let me see, is this from this year? Because if it is, then it's really super impressive. Wow. Oh, wow. Well, that's pretty awesome. Look at this crowd. Yay. Okay. We had some Ukrainians there in Pride. As that went okay, I have been worried. Okay, well, it says that it was fine. So it was mostly Orban just being Orban, just threatening people for, just for the sake of threatening people. Based on the news, it was okay. So over 100,000 in Helsinki. This is so cool. Wow. Okay. Good for you guys. That's nice. At least something positive, not just missile strikes and all of this insanity. I am not entirely sure if we have the people who were asking about this thing, but while I remember, because I might forget, last stream we were talking about this weird case of this member of the first round of talks of the Ukrainian negotiations, who was killed in March of on the 5th of March in 2022, and I forgot his name, and I promised to look it up, so I did. This is one of the articles detailing this. This one is from Radio Freedom. His name was Denis Kv, and apparently we still haven't found out what exactly happened, but it was, according to head of one of our intelligence, so Kirill Budanov, who you can currently see on screen, he is the head of GUR. So we have two intelligences in Ukraine. We have GUR and we have SBU. So Budanov said that this person, Denis Kv, that was murdered in 2022, that he was actually a GUR member who, oh hi Robert, thank you, who was murdered by SBU. So it sounded like some sort of insane, inside beef type of situation. According to Budanov, this guy was not a Russian spy, right? So we were talking last time, like whether or not he was a Russian spy. Well, Budanov says that he was not. He was a member of the first round of talks, and he was working for GUR, and then he was murdered, and it's still being investigated, but the whole thing is just shrouded in mystery. So that's just on the homework that some of you guys have given me, because I remember last time we were discussing this and I just couldn't remember the name of the guy, just for the death of me. Now I did. So how's that for a spy novel? Wow, right, Carol? I know. That's a major wow moment. So some sort of detective novel, honestly, and no clarity. Absolutely nothing. I remember how the news of this entire situation, how they appeared and then they disappeared within a couple of days. I mean, to be fair, it was March 5th, 2022. So everyone was super confused and scared, and no one was, understanding what was happening, and all of the attention was at the front line. All of the attention was on the, Russian advancements into the Ukrainian territory. But apparently there was a whole lot of mess happening in Kiev, and that was a part of it. So at the time, the head of SBU was this very controversial figure whose last name is Bakanov. He's no longer the head of SBU. So there could be, it could be something that had to do with him and his own personal doings, or whatnot. So it's just a bunch of, Kiev political drama and all of these dirty deeds that, I mean, it sucks that it happened, and it's awful, but that was the first months of the war. A lot of insane things were happening. Anyway, let me just close this one down. Oh, Victor, jump scare. I got jump scared by Orban. Good to see you again. Good to see you again too. How are you doing? We're currently discussing the mysterious spy novel type situation that unraveled in Kiev in 2022, and now I opened an image of Viktor Orban and my day is ruined. So, boy, look at him, so happy, standing next to Fico after they vetoed the new round of Russian sanctions. Why are we not surprised? Why are we not surprised on that? So this is reported by The Guardian, but other media outlets were also reporting on that. So the EU leaders were supposed to agree on the latest proposed sanctions against Russia, and Slovakia and Hungary continue to block a deal. Nothing ever happens. Same old, same old. So both of these wonderful men, so the leaders of Hungary and Slovakia, respectively, I mean, I think Victor at this point needs no introduction. Mwah, Vita, look at you glowing. We've also discussed Robert Fico previously, both extremely controversial figures, domestically and foreign policy-wise, both with some alleged ties to the Kremlin, in some instances not so alleged. So are we really surprised to see that they're the ones who are blocking the next round of sanctions? You've been Orbaned, exactly. Hi, Josh. At this point, the only thing you can do is laugh, because it is quite laughable. This issue, the issue of Hungary and Slovakia in particular, I know it has been arising from time to time within the European Union whenever the moment comes for any discussion regarding something that needs, a unanimous vote on, and especially now that more and more European countries are concerned with the possibility of armed aggression against them from, the Russian side. So a lot of people wondering, how are we going to navigate the situation if something, really tough and important happens regarding the security of the European Union, and you have these two beautiful blokes blocking such important decisions. So yeah, a lot of concerns. I know the Lithuanian politicians have been raising these concerns, and not only them, other people too. So yeah, at least Ukraine is redefining drone war tactics and effectiveness. At least we do. I guess, yeah, there's always a positive to everything. I wish we didn't have to. I wish this wasn't our existence, but it is. So yeah. Please come to Canada. Thank you for the invitation. I don't think I will in the foreseeable future, but if I ever do, I'll let you know. It could be fun, honestly, visiting Canada. All right, let's see what else this particular article says. The sanctions, this 18th round of sanctions that was supposed to be targeting energy, banking, and Russia's shadow fleet. EU diplomats regard them as the toughest for some time. Although a proposed lowering of the oil price cap to $45 a barrel looks in doubt because of, you're never gonna get a US opposition. Slovakia and Hungary are blocking the sanctions in protest over a separate plan from the European Commission to phase out Russian fossil fuels by 2028. So, because they do not want to... Hi, Annette, thank you. Because they do not want to... for the European Union to phase out Russian fossil fuel, they're also blocking the sanctions. Wow. 2 targets with 1 shot, huh? The 2 Central European countries secured an exemption on a Russian oil import embargo in March 23, and that's not enough, obviously. We need more. That allow them to continue to be supplied via the Soviet-era Druzhba pipeline. What a wonderful name. To those of you who do not know, Druzhba means friendship, and this is the name of that oil pipeline. From the Soviet era. It's called friendship. How cute is that? For Slovakia, the main problem is gas. Not for Slovakia, let me be honest with you. I think it's the main problem for many countries that got hooked on Russian resources. And thank you. Yay, thank you. All of us, right? All of us were there. All of us are still there to a certain extent. So Slovakia is seeking guarantees that breaking contracts with Gazprom, this is the main Russian natural gas company, won't mean energy companies having to pay massive damages. Okay, so it's basically blackmail, right? Let's just call it for what it is, right? We're not gonna... what is happening? I think this is Chewy having a meltdown. I think it just looks like... you can call it... the art of the deal. Now we're just gonna do this. We're gonna veto the sanctions. We're gonna disapprove of all of these things that the rest of the EU countries consider vital, hoping get something in exchange. Maybe they're hoping for a buyout of sorts. The Slovak government also says it is worried about consumer bills. Who isn't? Everyone is worried about the consumer bill. At a press conference in the early hours of Friday, von der Leyen insisted it was on track without referring directly to either country. That's very diplomatic of you, madam. But yeah, well, one good thing is that at least they rolled over previous sanctions on Russia, I guess, so they have agreed on something. And Donald Tusk, that's the Prime Minister of Poland, said that he's satisfied by that, so yay, I guess there is some light at the end of the tunnel, huh? The entire sanctions conversation, it's been like this from the get-go. From the very beginning, we have been witnessing, all of these promises, all of this talk of these sanctions that are just gonna be so fast and furious, and they're just gonna decapitate the Russian economy, And then the moment they started rolling out, we started seeing all of these issues arising, one after another. So, I think we still have years ahead of the same conversation happening. The question here is, will the European Union find a way to deal with this? Will they find a way to decisively deal with something like this? Not just for the sake of Ukraine, but for the sake of themselves if something happens, if something threatens the bloc itself. Right? That's the question at the moment. So, hi, Zachary. Hello. Conversations. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them definitely were. The symbolism was great, I guess. I guess we'll take the symbolism, but you cannot really use symbolism to push back against military aggression, right? At the same time, wait, let me just see. Is everything okay? Greetings from California, says Vindictus Gloriosus. Gloriosus. On YouTube. And let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, I think I didn't miss anything. I'm really paranoid about missing stuff. You have your hair in your face. It happens sometimes. It keeps doing it. It has a life of its own. Are you yes, I am currently, thank you, Annette. I am at home right now. I'm in Ukraine. And I think I will be for some time. Thank you. Appreciate it. So another thing is this entire messy conversation. Well, we're on the topic of all of these messy political decisions and drama. And yay, thank you, Annette. The entire EU accession and all of this, because remember, right, while the existential war is happening, all of the NATO stuff is happening, there's also the conversation about Ukraine potentially joining or not joining the European Union. And hi, Katie, thank you. And you're not gonna guess who's blocking this conversation. It's Viktor. So this headline reads regarding that Zelensky calls on EU to send clear political message. Hi, Cinderella, how's it going? On Ukraine's accession despite Hungary's block. Zelensky has called on EU to send the clear political message. Basically, he's saying, forget about her, meaning Viktor, and go with me. I'm better than Viktor Orban. To be frank, many people are better than Viktor Orban, so the bar is on the floor. Zelensky's appeal in a video address, he keeps making these, by the way, he keeps making the video addresses to everyone, to the EU leaders, to the people of Ukraine. Whenever he has a chance, he makes a video address. He could be a TikToker of the year, honestly. So yeah, he recorded the video regarding that entire situation. So what Hungary is doing, it's blocking. One thing that Hungary be doing, it'd be blocking the opening of detailed membership talks. So it's not even blocking the membership itself. It's not like everyone is like, oh my god, let's accept Ukraine into the European Union immediately. No one is saying that. That would be madness. And hi, thank you. Wait, 1 of 8 billion. That's a very deep philosophical name. Thank you, appreciate it. So what was I saying? I get lost in my... It keeps going. Thank you. Here's a little millennial heart for you. So we're at the stage where it's not even someone blocking anything of actual significance. It's blocking of the detailed talks. So it's literally the situationship of the geopolitical conversation anyway. So they're blocking that because because they want something, I imagine. Just can't, sorry. It keeps happening. Anyway, Orban arrived at the summit claiming that 2.2 million Hungarians oppose Ukraine's accession. Do you remember how we discussed that last time? Last time we were live, we discussed that beautiful Viktor's referendum where him and his people claimed that Ukrainians are drug dealers and human traffickers. And they threw a referendum and they claimed that 2.2 million Hungarians voted in that referendum. The opposition leader in Hungary, Peter Magyar, is saying that at the very best, 600,000 people voted and not 2.2 million, but Viktor stays delusional. So, yeah. Without naming names, Zelensky said, "What's needed now is a clear political message that Ukraine is firmly on the European path and that Europe stands by its promises." So basically we're saying, just give us a little something. Just, anything. Anything will do. Anything that just sounds remotely concrete. So... yeah, instead, one thing that they did, they separated our EU bid from Moldovan one. So we used to be, hi Zata, thank you. We used to be in one category with Moldova. So we were together. We came as a package deal when it came to any sort of conversation on the EU accession. And now Moldova is going to get its, own little separate little box because... our situation is cursed thanks to Orban. So I kind of understand why Moldova would want for something like this to happen. I wouldn't want to be in that situation either. This weird situationship with Viktor Orban. So yeah, some of the messy politics, you guys. You guys. If you are tired, imagine how tired we are of all of this nonsense. Oh God, and it just keeps happening. Let me see. Hi, Slavik. Orban still mad about World War One. Yeah, it's one of the many things that he is still mad about, but imagine still being salty about World War One. Not even World War Two, which is a lot of us are still very salty about and have a lot of problems regarding. But World War One, out of all things, Orban went to the same math class as Trump. Well, Orban likes Trump, as you guys remember, we have discovered during the last live stream. He even went to some sort of Republican conference in the United States to show to the people how much he loves them, and he was talking about what was it, anti-vaxxing or something, I don't know, all this stuff they like to talk about, these MAGA adjacent types. Good to see you again, you guys. Hello. Autocrats love fake referenda. Yeah, we know of a couple of people who adore them some fake referenda. Vladimir Putin, for instance, with his... How many did they have? At first they had one in Crimea, and then they had the one in Donbass. Or was it two? Do we count them as two? The Denis Kv, Oblasti. And then they had more in the recently occupied territory. Oh yeah, they love those referenda. Hello, Blue Moon Energy. Haven't seen you. Do you have extensions? No, I do not. All mine. I don't even think... Well, they're definitely not selling them in the, real physical stores here. Maybe you can get some on the internet. Probably you can. I mean, what am I talking about? It's Ukraine. You can get any beauty products that you could dream of in this country. But here in my town, it's mostly the announcements of them buying hair from us, because we're one of those countries where people buy hair for very cheap from women, and then they sell them to Western wig makers, and yeah, so it's they usually call it Russian hair, because of course they do, but very often it's from, it could be from Ukraine, could be from other Eastern European countries as well. So yeah, pretty much wherever you go, there are these they look gigantic. It's these huge announcements, and in red it says, "We're buying hair." Just very disturbing. But yeah. Then Armenia also said they want to join EU. Many people said they want to join the EU. The question is of how likely is the country to join the EU. Thank you, Tezai. And the question is of the list of demands that the EU has in terms of the reforms that the country has to conduct, and that it has to... There is a line. There is a queue of countries who want to get into the European Union, like half the Balkans, for instance. Then there is Turkey, and yeah, it goes on and on and on. There's many people who would like to be a part of the EU because it's so cool. It's the cool kids table. Everyone wants to be a part of the EU. Armenia is currently having a weird situation with its church, because no, I don't want a map of Armenia. What are you doing? Armenia. Wait, what are the news saying? Let me see. For some reason they're not saying, but there was some interesting arrests. Oh, there we go. Why is it Azer News? No, we're not opening Azer News when we're talking about Armenia. But Pashinyan has been having some beef with the church. Okay, let's see. With the church clerics. And recently it ended up in the most bizarre headlines in the English-speaking media of how some of these clerics are demanding to see his genitalia, to see whether or not he's circumcised. And I was like, wait, what is happening in Armenia? Okay, EurasiaNet says, Church-State feud in Armenia takes a detour to crazy town. What a wonderful professional headline. Definitely not biased at all. Okay, the public pleads make it stop. Well, this is what I pleaded when I read that headline. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's the feud between him and the leaders of the Armenian Apostolic Church. And there was a lot. It was this like continuous back and forth. So this is the last thing that I have heard when I was catching up on the situation in Armenia, and unfortunately not about the EU accession. Good to see you too. I'm here. I'm going live. Oh, thank Dave. Is it you with the PayPal thingy? Let me see. Wait. Can I see? Yes, it's Dave, of course. Thank you, Dave. I've been here. I'm live almost, well, every other day, pretty much. One day I'm live, the other day I'm not. Hi, Nick. And then I'm live again, and then I'm not live again. It's just, yeah, just the, it's really not really a schedule, because it's not like I'm a professional streamer. I just do it because it's fun. I enjoy talking to you guys. I have some things to share. So pretty much whenever I feel like doing it, I go live. They said, meaning the Russians, 96% of Kherson wanted to join them. Yeah, remember that. And remember what we talked about when we discussed the entire, whenever you see these huge inflated numbers, yeah, you just know. You just know. When you see 96%, 98%, 95%, immediately suspicions. Like, super sus. So this is definitely one of those cases. I mean, well, at least they didn't say 110. Another headline about Armenia. Armenia PM says foiled sinister coup plot by senior cleric. Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said Wednesday, this is France 24, this is not some weird sketchy website anymore, so good. Pashinyan said Wednesday that the Thank you, Inspector Son. Wednesday that the security forces had foiled a coup plot involving a senior cleric, the latest twist in his escalating conflict with the powerful apostolic church. It has been ongoing, right? So that headline with the, them asking to see his wee-wee, it was not just out of nowhere. It was a part of an ongoing situation. Roma says, been watching you since 21. Oh, so you were part of the people who were watching me for the Japan stories and stuff. Oh, thank you. Glad to see you too. Thank you for watching. UK need to path to EU. Corruption has to go down, but soon is Ukraine. Okay, sorry, I didn't understand what you were trying to say. Because the messages, when it's a long message, unfortunately it doesn't go through on TikTok. So if it's something that you would like, if it's like a longer thought, I think on YouTube it would be better. YouTube is definitely better for longer comments. This one went through. Finnish tax officials works together with Ukrainian to fight against corruption. Right, there's been so many initiatives. I mean, a lot of our, at least like the most like notorious, trustworthy NGOs that are trying to tackle corruption, they're all connected in, one way, shape or form to the, European Union. and quite openly so. And there is a lot of the European organizations that are also trying to help out with that. Which I consider this help. I know in Russian Federation this would be considered foreign agents intervening in all of this. I believe honestly that if it's something that helps us tackle corruption, it's a really good thing, because corruption is just cancer of a state. So Turkey has had a heck of a time trying for EU membership, understandably, I think, considering how they're occupying a part of one of the members. So the entire Turkey thing, yeah, it's very, very interesting and questionable, to say the least. They can't argue about corruption, as corruption seems to go hand in hand in politics. That's true, but sometimes, some corruption is deeper than the other corruption. Then it turns into, what is this? What's the word for that? I forgot the word. Kleptocracy, probably. Hungary has gone so bad under Orban, and all the wasted potential, right? All of the wasted potential. Everyone's very nice to me. Thank you. The first democratic election in Romania after the fall of communism was won with 92%. I think this is the only exception. I think that's the time after the collapse of, for instance, like in our case too, I think after the USSR collapsed back when it was, still new and fresh and there was no one to meddle with these things. In our case, at least, I think also this was probably the only time when you could see such numbers and think, okay, yeah, this is definitely totally valid and fair. We had, I wasn't born when it was happening, but in Crimea, where I'm from, before I was born, there was a referendum and people overwhelmingly voted to keep the USSR. Which I 100% believe, honestly, knowing the Crimean people. It's... This is what they want. The Russian side would claim that, it's Russia. Well, for instance, in 2014, during the annexation occupation process, this was when they had their referendum. They were like, oh, everybody wants to be a part of Russia. That was, I think, the only fair referendum, and they voted to be a part of the Soviet Union because, post-Soviet mentality go bzzz. Okay, there was an interesting development in the entire... military equipment burning all over Europe situation. So, first of all, I've learned of a couple more cases, and I have learned about this guy. I don't know if you guys are seeing this beautiful face. Oh, we're gonna discuss this guy. This is an American billionaire communist. I am not kidding. Of course, a major fan of Russia and the young republics of Donbass, as they like to call them. And he is, in an interesting plot twist, linked to the organization that was behind some of the setting of the military equipment at the European bases on fire. Who could have thought? So, we're going to discuss that in a second. Oh, you guys love my Japan stories. Well, I'm really glad to hear that. Oh, damn, you're safe, says Rise Up. Wait, am I supposed to read it like this? Or are you glad that I'm safe? Or is it one of those, damn it, she's still alive? Because I've had both. I've had a lot of people happy that I'm still alive, and I've had a lot of people like, when are you gonna get bombed? Literally, in my DMs. So, that was also happening. Hi, Jack. Hello, Dizzy Desi. Didn't vote for Trump. Please do not apologize. Please, I'm begging you. So many Americans have been apologizing just non-stop. You guys, come on. Oh, in a plot twist, the democratic election that we thought was democratic was not actually democratic. It was maneuvered. Okay, I have to read up on that. So apparently really, in 1992, you had people maneuvering the elections. Wait, why am I surprised? I mean, but it's just, it's so early. And it was, who was doing that? Was it the, some of the FSB people? Okay, I need to learn about that. Ode to the American billionaire communist. You kept disappearing in 2021. You mean even before the war, the full-scale invasion? Yeah, I remember I was having all of these, whether or not I would like to continue posting, do I actually have anything to share moments, and, kind of doubting whether or not I actually have it in me. And then I made the decision in the late 21. I also had my thesis to write, so I was really busy with my master's thesis about Crimea, actually, because I like picking on my own trauma. And then I defended my thesis, and I was like, okay, you know what? I will give content creation another shot. And I started posting videos about books and stuff. And then it was end of 21, beginning of 22, and the situation was getting more and more tense. And I was like, you know what? I think I have to talk about Ukraine a little, because I don't like the way things are going. And and now we're here, so welcome. Okay, let's get into the... Oh, Carol says, instead of apologizing, we promise to fight like hell. Well, that's the spirit. That's the spirit. That's much better. You have to... I think that's definitely the mood to be in, and this is your responsibility to yourselves first, right? To fight for your institutions and for your democracy. I'm always happy... Oh, thank you, Lucille. We're gonna get into the billionaire communist in a sec. This guy, Denis Kv, forbade the former king of Armenia to return, and the one that ran supporting the return of the king, that's Lord of the Rings literally, Denis Kv plotted against him and democracy, and that's how he won with 92%. Well, that's crazy. Okay, I definitely need to read more about this. I'm gonna write this down. I'm just gonna, just for my own personal use, because that's insane. Romania... 92. All right. Thank you for that. And now we're going to get into the billionaire communist. How does that happen, you might wonder? Well, this incredible human being is apparently, according to this website called ngomonitor.org, which, I mean, seems to be pretty trustworthy according to many sources, it says that this person, in a November 23 interview, James Fergie Chambers is his name, said that he pays the legal fees of this group. It's called Palestine Action. In this particular case, it does nothing to benefit Palestine. It's just this group that is behind at least 2 of these attacks on the equipment for Ukraine. So this guy, again, the communist billionaire wearing a little linen hat, and he says the word, this is the word that is tattooed on his neck. If you guys are on YouTube, you're seeing what I'm seeing, and I apologize for that. It's apparently, according to the deep dive that I think Vanity Fair did into him, it used to say a cab, of course, but then he changed it into the word krasava, which to those of you who speak Russian, you know what that means, but it's like a cool bloke, type of, attaboy, it could mean, in, the sophisticated Gopnik circles, when someone tells you, krasava, it's like, yeah, attaboy. So this person is paying for their legal fees. But what could that possibly mean, right? The same person who says, I chant death to America every day. I mean, that's a pretty common case for communists, just most of them are not billionaires. They're usually just wealthy. They're like upper middle class most of the time. But anyway, so he is behind their legal fees. And this group, among the things that they did... let me see. So it's this Belgian factory that they have attacked, broke into the premises of the defense company, damaged equipment that was reportedly intended for Ukraine. Brussels Signal reported on June 24th. The coordinated actions targeted 2 Belgian companies, one in Tournai and one in Heron, with activists accusing them of complicity in Israel's military operations in Gaza. But the company denies it. So the organization says that, but the company said that they never even had a contract like that with Israel, and that the equipment was mostly for Ukraine. So this is why we're interested. So one of the companies said, there's some confusing information here. Hi, Adam, thank you. One of the companies claimed that they didn't have such a contract. Let me see if I can see which one was that. I probably closed that article, because of course I did. Streamer of the year. Anyway, but this particular equipment, the factories are claiming that was damaged. It was the equipment that was meant for Ukraine. They entered the buildings with angle grinders and hammers. It was an especially well-prepared action. My question is, this is the quote from the company CEO, Freddie Versley, I guess. My question for Mr. Freddie is, why could a bunch of people with hammers randomly walk into your military equipment factory and start destroying things? It's either two options, two possible scenarios. Either there's something that I do not understand about the sophisticated security and the nature of the European military-industrial complex, or someone messed up pretty badly. And we are now learning repeatedly, case after case, Germany, military base in the UK, Air Force base, I think, in the UK, this Belgian situation, that you can just walk into the European military facilities and just start smashing stuff. And okay, so the group began smashing desks and computers before moving on to heavily damage several vehicles. Okay, we're now facing a delay of at least a month in delivering critical equipment to Ukraine, the CEO says. He estimated the financial damage at nearly 1 million euros. And most of the protesters were clearly women, he added. What's that? Wait, thank you, Erica. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know. Is it not feminine enough, I guess? Why did they enter your factory? How did they do it? Okay. I'd estimate about 80% were women. We can see it clearly in the video from how they behave and how they handle the hammers. Okay, Freddy, I don't like you anymore. So that particular company have been focused primarily on Ukraine. The company specializes in maintenance, repair, and upgrades of military equipment. And since Russia's full-scale invasion, so since 2022, they have been supplying they have supplied our army with about 260 armored vehicles, which, if you know anything about the nature of the battlefield, you know how vital this equipment is. So many of our soldiers have to walk barefoot. So many of them have to... Oh, thank you for resubscribing, Adam. Appreciate it. So many of them have to use used pickup trucks. So armored vehicles are absolutely crucial. And of course, any delay it could have devastating consequences. Freddie here, the CEO of the company, emphasized that his company has not produced defense systems for Israel in over 20 years. That's the quote that I've been looking for. And he added that OIP, it's the name of the company, hey Sarah, thank you, does not even hold an export license to supply an equipment to that country. So the entire thing looks suspicious now, right? With everything that we now know that this wonderful communist man is at least partially financing these people. The vehicles that have been destroyed were meant for Ukraine. And now we finish our brilliant investigation with, thank you Sarah, with information from x.com. We go on James's Twitter account, because of course he has a Twitter account, that's him, and a post of his from September 23rd, 2023. So he says, "Greetings, Manhattan's Ukrainian village. I heard there might be some crop hoarding going on." This is a little Holodomor genocide joke. Holodomor, it was this mass starvation of the Ukrainian people by Stalin and by the Bolsheviks. So we have this entire commemorate it. It's a very very sad day for the entire country. So he, in this, if you're not on YouTube and you're not seeing what I'm saying, he's wearing a Stalin t-shirt, and he is in a Ukrainian village in Manhattan, so it's like an own to all of us, I guess, somehow. And this starts a conversation with one of the Ukraine supporters. They start talking, as it always happens. I think both of them are American, just this sort of back and forth. The communist millionaire, billionaire, whatever he is, says, in Brighton, I'd start real shit. I'd come ready for it and scale it up to make it meaningful as I would for any high leverage direct action. Direct action? What do you mean? The other guy responds to him, no, you wouldn't. To which this person responds, homie, I was on the front in Donbass. None of the superficial nonsense compares to those scenarios. How's cozy Kiev? And he wasn't in Donbass. In fact, this beautiful picture that I keep bringing up, I think it was taken in Donbass. And he even had a press permit from the Russians, which means, yeah, it's actually interesting. It's not something that you can just easily get, right? This type of thing from the Russian government, from the FSB. Anyway, he was on the front in Donbass, to which the other guy said that you and everyone else. It keeps going, like the back and forth. But interesting enough, he ends with a message that kind of caught my attention, because he says, I've long thought that a very directed anti-Kiev direct action in such an area like Brighton, they're talking about Brighton, would be compelling. Anti-Kiev direct action, you say? Somewhere in UK or maybe in the European Union? Well, that's interesting, considering what we now know about all of these people burning stuff. Jesus. So, yeah, some groundbreaking journalism too. Of course, it's not proven, right? And no one is going to prove anything. But, I mean, come on. We have been alive for long enough, and we have been following this situation for long enough to see whenever stuff like this happens, it doesn't happen, just because. It doesn't happen just because. A bunch of armored vehicles for Ukraine just doesn't simply get burned by accident, especially when it happens so closely to other instances of military equipment for Ukraine burning. So, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna look at the chat now. Hi, Tim. We have kind of a media blackout in the West on Dragar Kadyrov. Maybe or maybe not quitting. We're gonna get to that in a sec. This is something that we haven't talked about. We haven't talked about the Kadyrovites. We will get to that. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Missed a couple of comments. When we're a team this kind of up in the US, it's crazy how easily one can access military facilities. This is such a blunder. Honestly, I do not understand how it can be done. Why is it so easy? And why isn't anyone doing anything? I mean, for the last couple of weeks, everyone's been repeatedly talking about how this is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. Everyone's waking up. Everyone is waking up to the reality that all of these factories can be accessed so easily. But all they do is they continue waking up, but no action is being taken. And it's just so insane to me. It's just why? Well... Right. Gosh. Annette asks, so they were not Palestinian protesters, they were paid to destroy equipment for Ukraine. By the looks of it. I mean, they call themselves the Palestine Action. They're carrying the flags. If you are on YouTube right now, you will see how they looked according to one of the articles. Like, they're in these white hazmat suit with some flags, but they end up destroying equipment for Ukraine. So one of the versions that I've read that honestly is seems quite likely to me, is that at least some of these people are just it could be that they're just being used. It's that they're being kept in the dark, and maybe they mean well, who knows? It's really hard to say with, this type of action. My biggest question here is for the people in charge of the security of those factories, because what are you doing? Can I walk in? Like, if we gather together, like you guys and I, and we get a bunch of hammers and some, I don't know, jello, and we just walk into a random Belgian factory and, you know, start throwing it all into some tanks, and then it's cool, we can just do that. What? This is literally an invitation for all of the sleeper agents, which, if you've been following the situation, you know that the entire European Union is crawling with them. They know that they can just do it like this, and at least for now. So yeah, just very bizarre. The entire situation is extremely, extremely bizarre. Oh, did I see Zoe? Did I see you? Or did I not? Wait. I'm just ranting about things. Very confusing things are happening. We're trying to figure out how to live in this world. The hammer party, yay! Thank you, Annette. Imagine that. Oh, so yeah, just very, very messy. Of course, it's all alleged, right? We do not have the proof that the bizarre communist guy is actually in on it. It's just some of the things that he said, and also the fact that he's financing these people, perhaps. But I was so intrigued by this character, honestly. I think this is the first, I mean, I knew that a lot of these communist types, they tend to be from affluent background. This is one of the reasons why they have time to do, to be communists, because they have the money and usually resentment towards their families for some reason. But I think this is the first one that literally comes from a billionaire dynasty. So, you live, you learn, I guess. So we had champagne socialists, now we have billionaire communists. Okay. Sure. Thanks. I hate it. Sure, pal. Of course we have something like that. Okay. I am in Ukraine, Sarah. Yeah, I'm still in Volyn. Still in the deep, deep west. So, yeah. Oh, that's very motivating. That we could use that on t-shirts, Lars. So you make sure to copyright that line. Ukraine is the... Thank you. Ukraine is the hammer. Russia... Oh, did we meet the goal? Thank you. Russia chooses to be the nail. Or honestly, you better copyright this immediately, because all of these people manufacturing the Bayraktar socks and stuff like this, they're gonna steal it from you. I hate to sound ignorant. You're not. Don't worry. Impossible in this. Almost impossible in this chat. I mean, some of the pro-Russians won't manage to, but isn't billionaire communist an oxymoron? Yes, it is. It's very much a contradiction, but not in this day and age anymore. In this madness that we find ourselves in, apparently this is normal. Oh, is this Heath Ledger? Oh, so I just randomly got a Heath Ledger edit on my Twitter feed. This is a timeline cleanse to those of you who are watching YouTube, just so that we could feel better. But yeah, the entire, billionaire communist situation, of course, it's a huge hypocrisy moment, because... But then again, so is the entire ideology. These people are either delusional or they're deliberately lying, because they know that it cannot be achieved, right? If they have an ounce of a brain, they know that it cannot be achieved, and that the entire ideology that they keep parroting is just a bunch of hoopla and nonsense. And but yeah, they steal this. It's like a cult, honestly. Sometimes they remind me of a cult. I tried to at least for a while to limit my interactions with them, because whenever I would, it just immediately would make my brain explode. But so yeah. All right, let me go into the map for a moment. And let me see what you people are saying. Oh my god, I can get Bayraktar socks. I don't think that you can anymore. You used to be able. Let us check if you can. Wait, I'm gonna check in Ukrainian because this is definitely not something that you will find in English. Bayraktar Shkarpetki. Shkarpetki is socks. And yep, they're still selling them. They're still selling them. Шкарпетки Байрактар, чоловічі. Let's see. Yep. If you are on YouTube, it's some company called papadesign.com.ua. It got worse. Wait. And yeah, it has one of them has a Bayraktar drone on it, and the other one, I think it's a Javelin tube. And yeah, they're blue and yellow because of course they are, so yeah. Go get your deal. Go get your Bayraktar socks. Oh, Christ. We have another internet store called Dolce Noche. Yeah, they're also selling. Wait, I think these are, no, they're not used. These are just Bayraktar. Okay, the other ones were much more exciting. But these are cheaper, so. As many Bayraktar socks as you want. Everybody's getting a Bayraktar sock. Okay, we wanted to talk about Kadyrov. And yeah, just let me close that. Tim already said this himself on in the YouTube comment section that we shouldn't be lumping all of the Chechen people in with the Kadyrovites. This is Ramzan Kadyrov, the current FSB appointed Chechen leader. This is him, and for a very long time, rumors of his possible retirement have been plaguing the news feed. Yeah, this is, if you guys are on YouTube, this is to punish you for that Heath Ledger edit that we just looked at. This is Ramzan Kadyrov. Why is it important not to lump in all of the Chechen people? There is a huge Chechen diaspora living abroad, and they're very much against what's happening and against the Russian aggression. We also have Chechen volunteers fighting for Ukraine as a part of the Ukrainian army. So usually to these, the sort of pro-Russian ones, we usually refer to them as like Kadyrovites, or specify that, hashtag not all Chechens. So the rumors started a very long time ago. It was about his kidney failure, it was about his lung disease, it was about cancer, it was about him getting some sort of rare treatment in Dubai or something, and it's been happening for a while, and he keeps living, he keeps surviving. He's the survivor, destiny child for poor people, I guess. And the only thing that recently has been pointing at the fact that we might be looking at a possibility of some sort of dynasty change, that perhaps he will be followed by one of his sons, is that his sons started to appear in the news cycle much more often than they did before. I do not know how many sons he has. I know there are at least 3, maybe there's more. Who knows? But just about like a day ago, and I think in the last 24 hours, a lot of the news regarding their family were about the upcoming marriage of his youngest son, Adam. Adam Kadyrov is getting married. It was everywhere. So could this be them, the Russian media space, preparing the public for an announcement, or... Really hard to say. Another title says, Kadyrov told how Putin congratulated his son with the wedding. What an event. Incredible. So, one of the more emotional headlines from the Ukrainian media says, all Grozny, that's the capital of Chechnya, is talking about this. Dying Kadyrov is getting his son married off. But... yeah, so unfortunately there is no way to confirm or deny what's actually happening. We can just guess. And that's the nature of pretty much the majority of the government-related news coming out of Russia. I was trying to open Mail. This is a Russian opposition publication. It doesn't want to open for some reason. It doesn't want me to know what's happening with Kadyrov. Maybe it's blocked in Ukraine? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna look at another Russian opposition publication. It's called Medusa. Third son of Ramzan Kadyrov, 17-year-old Adam, is getting married. His sister informs. She posted a story on Instagram, in parentheses, officially blocked in the Russian Federation. A picture of wedding preparations. And when one of the subscribers asked her, she responded, "My brother Adam is getting married." Okay, good for them, I guess. So yeah, sorry Tim. No real way to check whether or not this, information about Kadyrov passing away or being really ill is true, but we can read the signs, and the signs are saying that, yeah, that might be the case. Fingers crossed. Yep, that was Medusa. Yeah, right. Carol says 22-23. Putin is dying. Like, we were that lucky. Even if he did die, it just doesn't really matter. There will be another Putin. If this one dies, there will be another. So they'll come up with a new Putin, and they will find another way to ruin our lives. So, yeah. Oh well. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. I really wanted to make today a little bit more casual, but yeah, then we got into all of the things burning and exploding and Kadyrov, you know how it happens. But I need to dedicate one stream, I think, at least a week for like more casual fun stuff, so that we could celebrate life together and not just talk about the endless horrors of it all. My Norwegian friend Lars is here, Ukraine supporter. Yeah, we have Lars in the chat. Is that the Lars you're referring to? Шкарпетки, says Furman. Yeah, that's on the Bayraktar socks. Amazing. Wait, what does that mean, says Sarah? You mean the socks? Or what is Bayraktar? Bayraktar is the Turkish-made drone that became famous in the first months of the full-scale invasion because, first of all, the word itself is really cool and memeable, and also it was this extremely cool weapon that we used to burn all of the Russian columns that were advancing towards Kiev. So, yeah, that's the pictures. It looks, honestly, if you're not a drone expert, it's probably gonna look like any other drone to you. So, but yeah, there is a bunch of Bayraktar merch. There is Bayraktar song, Bayraktar. Yeah, it's just at this point, it's more of a meme, honestly. But yeah, Bayraktar. Furman says, "Oh no, not Kadyrov." Oh, my favorite warlord. Can I ask how old you are? I usually say that I'm somewhere between 12 and 56. No, actually, this is not what I'm saying. Recently, I got a comment on one of my videos that says, Are you 12 or are you... Wait, what was it? Are you 12 or are you 47? And I said, no, I'm turning 56 in September. I have an entire wardrobe of 22 blue, yellow, every saying t-shirt. If it was a fundraiser, I grab. Well, this is very sweet of you, Carol. Thank you. This is one of the things that I know a lot of fundraisers did this. They tried, to get people who donate something nice, which was, yeah, obviously this is a really good way to invite people in to grow the fundraiser. Yeah, I remember this. We still have a lot of those, and they're of varying intensity. Some of them are still doing like merch for the biggest donation. Some of them are doing like car giveaways, which to me, I don't really understand how it works. if you have a car to give away, why are you doing? Well, okay, maybe because some of those fundraisers, they're like for very large amounts of money, so the car is nothing compared to it, I guess. But yeah, it's still kind of, whenever I see those, I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you. So yeah. Is there any nightlife in Ukraine? Oh yes, there is, and from time to time it goes viral on Twitter. With all of the people, who don't like us very much, like, aha, here's another proof of, them actually not having a war. Because remember, it's one of those very popular propaganda lines regarding Ukraine. So in certain circles, for instance, Don Jr., Trump's, I think, least favorite son, probably least favorite son after Eric. Anyway, one of his two least favorite sons, he loves to repeat that. Why is there no footage from Ukraine? And then, they also start using this stuff like from the nightclubs in Odessa or Kharkiv. It's like, I think this just, honestly, to me, it speaks to those people's resilience. We've already talked how they're made of steel in those regions, and the fact that they managed to continue having, life this normal while being under daily shellings. So they go to the club, they dance, they hang out, they go back home, they get bombed. I don't know. I don't know what, but that's just something that, I am. Perhaps it's not a bug, it's a feature. Here we don't have any nightlife. We do not have any life. The only nightlife here is the one with the beavers. Hi Margie, thank you. Because we have a lot of beavers in Volyn and around my house in particular, and that's the only nightlife we're having. So I don't know what that says about us. No, I'm not actually 56. I'm kidding. Come on. Of course I'm not 56. She's 50. Team says keeping up with the Kadyrovs. Oh yeah, many things are happening at once. I am 56. The Kadyrovs are getting married and dying and getting kidney diseases, and yeah, it's all the fun, huh? Okay, something else that I wanted to talk about. Oh, it's Trump. No. Okay, I didn't double check this one. The only source I have for this is Twitter, so I don't know how to react to this. But according to this Twitter post, Trump said that Putin made some very nice statements today. Putin respects our country. Xi and Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping respect our country too. They did not respect us last year. Reporter, are you considering sending Patriot missiles to Ukraine? Have you made up your mind about that? Trump, I may. All right. Okay. He also apparently said that he rescued Ayatollah Khamenei. Oh, okay. No. I don't have it in me. One thing that I wanted to discuss is the fact that Russians have taken over one of the biggest sources of lithium in Ukraine. While we haven't talked about the rare earths in a while, you guys. I think we have to change that. So this is the insider quoting Le Figaro, which I wanted to look it up on Le Figaro, or did I? Anyway, we're gonna use this one. It's just a picture of lithium, a bunch of lithium. But yeah, so this is the village of Shevchenko in Donetsk region. Shevchenko, Donetsk. Let me show you. I think we've been discussing it when we were... No, I don't think we've talked about this one. We talked about this Russian advancement a bit to the south of it. We haven't talked about this. It's in Pokrovsk area, and it's been kind of... I don't really understand how it only made news now. Maybe we even discussed this already, so if we did, apologies for this, because it's been gray area for a very long time, and the Russian advancement in that area, it's Pokrovsk area, it's one of the most heated parts of the front line, so, but yeah, apparently Le Figaro and the Insider recently discovered that this is also the place where a lot of our lithium is, so... Now the question is whether or not someone's gonna tell Trump about this, because according to the mineral deal, the US has to have the right of the first night to those minerals. So, excuse me, can someone please notify the Russian army so they can withdraw from there? Anyway, so yeah, it's old news because it's a Soviet era development. Everybody knew about this since '82. It's just kind of, I think the main reason why I'm currently bringing this up is that it's important to remember that a vast number of Ukrainian natural resources, minerals, and so on and so forth is in Donbass and in the territories in which the Russians are currently advancing at. And yeah, when you keep that in mind, all of a sudden you begin to realize that perhaps the mineral deal wasn't that good of a deal after all. No, what about the art of the deal? I thought... also, notice how everybody have completely forgotten about the mineral deal. I wonder why. Patrick, I know, I tried my best, but I have almost, 29,000 followers on there? I'm still thinking that maybe I can use it for some good. To at least try, right? At least try and spread some information. I don't know, I'm trying. Because otherwise it would feel like giving up a little bit, I think I'm gonna give it another try, honestly, because that's just how I think, at least in this particular case. Because sometimes, from time to time, even on there, it's Patrick is talking about X. You get all of these people trying, to push through with the true information, with some, something of actual significance, and yeah, and it works. And sometimes you even get still like a semblance of a discussion. Of course, it's nothing like it used to be back in the day, but yeah, I think it just, yeah, I'm probably gonna give it another try. So sorry for that. I know. Carol says, it's about the donations. I have since wised up and donate straight money rather than merch. Well, I think it's to each their own, right? Some people are okay with donating, just simply because they believe, which is very admirable, and thank you so much for that. And some people would like some merchandise, so to each their own. We don't judge. Thank you, Maddie. Wait, why did I... I think I have missed the rare, nothing is happening with the rare earth. This is the point, right? So they have been promising to give us the deets on finalizing the deal and figuring out all of this, all of the additional details, the documentation, making it public. Then nothing happened. Apparently they continue talking. In the meantime, while they're talking about God knows what, the Russians continue advancing on the territory where all of the minerals are. So, and Putin is a great admirer of the United States, apparently. So that's where we are with the mineral deal. I know. Wait until he finds out about the Obsidian. All news is news. It's new news to the USA because we have short-term memory. I don't think you guys have short-term memory. I think it's just you're getting bombarded with so much stuff, which is in many instances it's not even news. It's literally stuff. It's like people coming at you with all of this information, wanting, to confuse you, to persuade you, to make you buy things, to turn you into some sort of cultist or whatnot. That, yeah, it's just easy to get lost in all this information. The way the information space have been working, like in the US, and I think many other Western countries too, but specifically in the US, it's only now starting to reach us, and it's overwhelming. And it's not even, I imagine, not even half as bad. Just, one example with all of the ads that you're getting bombarded with. I remember getting all of these videos on TikTok and other social media about how Like there are constant ads, constant TikTok shop, buy this, buy that, I'm selling this, come with me to buy this, trying to sell you that. And I remember I was so confused because TikTok shop doesn't even exist here. So we don't have it in Ukraine. I haven't seen a single TikTok shop ad ever. And I can only imagine if people even started making videos complaining about this, how overwhelming this was. So it's always, right? News, opinions, information, people selling you stuff, people lying to you, people trying to make you laugh, people trying to make you love them. And yeah, that's a lot. I think that could make you lose your mind pretty easily. Brush your hair, says George, and then immediately follows me. George, you can't have it both ways. You're either hating or you're following. Come on. X prefers fake news to spread. So definitely, there's definitely a pattern. But sometimes you get like little glimpses, little bits and pieces. I think there's hope. There's always hope. Oh, and Rich Hagen says that my hair looks much better, huh? How about that? What's your name? George. Thank you, Paul Possum. That's very sweet of you. How can you mine on a battlefield? I was hoping that perhaps maybe Trump will explain it to us, or maybe our government will explain it to us. Nope. No explanation yet. We're waiting. We're waiting for more deets on that. Perhaps one day they will give them to us. Who knows? Bring them with you. Thank you. All right, let's see what else we have to discuss. Okay, we even talked about Armenia, you guys. Can you imagine that? Although very, very briefly. We talked about the sanctions veto, brought to you by Viktor Orban and Bobby Fico. So I'm gonna close this one. We talked about SBU destroying helicopters in Crimea. And we talked about this horrifying strike on Odessa. I think we haven't talked about... there was also another shelling of Kherson. Again, this is a daily occurrence at this point. So it's drones and artillery, which again, unfortunately, daily occurrence because artillery can now reach deeper into Kherson region, I believe. So 6 people were wounded. We also have this major scandal unraveling in Ukraine with this disabled guy who allegedly scammed the people who were donating money to him. And now everyone is discussing that, but it's not, so currently there is an investigation, so everything is alleged, nobody knows what's happening, but if it turns out to be the case, then it would mean that not only was he receiving medicine that he needed in Ukraine and also in Italy, where he apparently has a residential permit, but he was also raising money to buy medicine, when in reality he already had 2 batches of that medicine. We will wait for more information on that. This is just something that currently the entire Ukrainian internet is talking about, because I think all of us donated to him. I remember donating to him. So many people donated to him because every single time whenever we would see any information from him, it was like, oh, I only have 3 months to live, and you're like, oh my god. And you look at him and he is obviously he has this terrifying, like very painful looking disability, and everyone obviously felt sorry for him and wanted to help. Well, we have this expression loch ne mamont ne vimre, which can be roughly translated as like fool isn't a mammoth, he will not die out. And we usually use it about ourselves whenever we get tricked by another scammer. So, but I really hope that it's revealed that maybe he's not a scammer after all. So yeah. Anyway, I think yeah, this is it. We can just chat for a little bit. If you guys have any questions, anything you would like to know, let me know. Let me look at my list of things, because I think I have done most of the things that I wanted to talk about, so we can just, take it easy from here on out. Let me see. Do you still have your avocado tree now? Unfortunately, he passed. He passed away, you guys. We have the lemon. He's a new guy, and I know he's not as impressive as the Kokonowski, the avocado tree, rest in peace, was, but that's the lemon. He's growing. Maybe one day he will be just as impressive as that other one was. I don't know, some sort of fun guy or whatever got him. I tried everything to cure him, but no, to no avail. So, yeah. All right. Let's do one more round of questions while I look if there is anything. One more round of questions, like there were so many questions. But if you have anything you would like to know, please let me know. And I think then we can call it a day, because it's very nice and chill news-wise. No, this is just some corruption scandal. This happens every day. All right. Thank you. You're very sweet. R.I.P. avocado tree. We're not seeing much news in Western media on Ukraine. How are things going? So the general trend is the Russians are advancing gradually. Thank you, Lucky. Russians are advancing. Our side is trying to defend, and it's just sort of gradually being pushed back, just out of sheer volume. The fighting is ongoing. The front hasn't collapsed yet. In some areas it's been crumbling, but thankfully no collapse. And the missile strikes and the drone strikes are daily. I think that's pretty much the situation, to put it briefly. Has any progress in getting Ukrainian stolen children back been made? No, unfortunately not really. There have been just few isolated cases, but on a larger scale, no. And we've been sent some clear signs from the White House that they're not interested in helping us out, with pursuing any sort of action regarding that. And it's been hinted in, all of these rounds of talks and all of these conversations that no one is really going to pursue that this is something that, at least by the looks of it, the US side is kind of willing to let go and perhaps try and pressure us into letting go, although our side made it clear that we're not going to let it go, because of course, how could you possibly let it go? We're not Elsa from Frozen. We're talking about children, living, breathing human beings that were stolen. But yeah, unfortunately, I think one of the most tragic details about the entire notion of those kids being stolen and spending all this time in, some of them were already adopted in the Russian families, so they're gradually getting assimilated into the new families. They're gonna get Russified. They're perhaps if they were small when they were taken from these like orphanages and other areas on the occupied territories, they will not even remember being Ukrainian. So what exactly are you gonna do if, say, in several years you try to get these children back? It's so complicated and it's devastating. In some instances, the track was lost. There was also there was this database that was collected by the US investigators trying to assist us in locating those children, but then it was closed down, I think, last month. So that was pretty disappointing, unfortunately. Yeah, that's it's also very important for the Russian side, like propaganda-wise, to try and to basically make it seem, do anything to discredit those claims. Because remember, this is the accusation, the kidnapping of the children, that led to Putin's arrest warrant it's exactly that. It's not the war crimes, you know, it's nothing of not the invasion, it's the children stuff. So they're using a lot of efforts to discredit the entire claim that kids were kidnapped. They're saying, no, we evacuated them. Evacuated them from whom, Vladimir? Who did you evacuate the kids from? Oh, there were shellings in there. Who was shelling? Why was there shelling? Why was there no shelling before? And then there was shelling of the air. What? Could you clarify that? No? Okay, I thought so. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Scott. Hi. We were just talking about the stolen children. Hello, Baker. Thank you for stopping by. Good to see you. Already wrapping up, but if there's anything you would like to... anything you would like to hear, let me know. We're gonna do, I think, maybe a couple more minutes. We need a regime change in the US, says Kristen. No, you'll have to, I think, wait him out, right? You're gonna have, hopefully, you're gonna have a new election, and yeah, fingers crossed, right? Let's hope for the best. Harvard University had made good progress, funding removed by Donald Trump. Right. That was one of the... With Harvard, another thing that was removed, it was they had this incredible program for like Ukrainian culture and media. They've been translating all of these Ukrainian authors, and all of that was defunded too, of course. Who needs art? Who needs science? No one needs that. But yeah, okay. Whatever, I guess. So, yeah, well, I think we will probably be calling this a day. It was a very chill one. We have discussed some things, well, pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about, but, no, I don't really see any more questions, so don't get mad at me if you had any more questions. So yeah, everyone, thank you so much for watching. As always, you know, I appreciate you. Next time I will be live, I'm thinking on Monday evening, so that's the plan, at least for now. Sunday's God's day, and also I don't know what we're gonna do. Probably We'll see. I had something. I think I need to take one of the dogs to the vet. Anyway, I will see you all, hopefully, on Monday. Take care, okay? Stay safe, stay sane. As always, don't let all of this negativity drag you down. We will survive, like Gloria Gaynor taught us in her immortal song. Immortal, not immoral, immortal. Mwah. Thank you, everybody. Heroям slava. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you. Okay, I think we can do a couple more minutes of the sub-only live, perhaps. Let me see. While I am figuring everything out with YouTube. Hi, YouTube. You guys still here? Oh, we still have some people. I see you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna be shutting this thing down. Appreciate you all. Thank you for staying here.